I was reading this book the other day, and all of a sudden it dawns on me that there's a passage that just jumps out at me, and it says something like none suffer lack. And these three words just jumped off the page at me, and I began to think about that must be the answer. I had no idea that it would be the answer to so many questions on so many levels. As people, we're created in a fashion that allows us to have certain predictable outcomes. Well, these predictable outcomes allow for psychologists to do what they do, psychiatrists to do what they do, as well as doctors to do what they do. But the question really comes to my mind, and perhaps it has already come to yours, and that is, are you suffering? Are you suffering lack? The lack of this or the lack of that? It got me to thinking about how one person in one state of mind will look at something and consider it to be suffering, and how another person may be in the same condition would think about it as being an upgrade. I would venture to say that the stories that we tell to ourselves, it puts us in a place of an upgrade or perhaps a place of suffering. Yes, someone could take your ball if you're on the playground as a kid, or someone could take your place in line if you're standing in the grocery store and you knew that you wanted to check out, and for whatever reason they got in front of you and they just acted like you were not there and you suffered. But there's suffering in other places of the world too. There's suffering in places of the world that you and I probably have not thought about today. And this suffering is a place of lack. Now, as we consider what we've heard before about the world's resources, we know that in the world, there is more than enough resources for everyone on the planet to have an abundance. What would happen if all of the resources somehow, I don't know how, I'm not even suggesting how, but let's say somehow, were redistributed amongst everyone, so none suffered lack? Let's think about it on this other level, on the level of love. Let's say that there's no lack of love. There's an abundance of love throughout the earth. There's an abundance of love for new people that you meet because it comes from somewhere, and this is a new person whom you've never met, and so now this person is experiencing love from you. The love of some things that we've had in times past, and for whatever reason, there always seems to be the presence of the willingness to permeate and penetrate in this behavior that we call love. And so for one moment, just imagine that the entire world was loved, where no one suffered the lack of love. Of course, we can extrapolate this into money. We can extrapolate this into anything that we want to extrapolate it into, where none suffered lack. You might be suffering today. You may have told yourself a story. You may have been playing a script in the corner or even in the main parts of your mind, and you allowed yourself to suffer. Whatever it is that you're telling yourself, whatever state that you, notice I am saying that you put yourself in. Yes, I want it to sink in just a little bit. You put yourself in that situation, and you may perhaps be suffering. Or you might be the person, you have already suffered. You have already suffered, but you didn't stay there. You caught a bridge. One of the bridges to come out of suffering is something that we call endure. And one of the elements, or one of the boards or the planks on the bridge that's called endure is something that's called a goal, or a will to want something else. So if a person is suffering today, they possibly could travel on the bridge of endure, and they possibly could find a goal, or make a goal, or create a goal, or see something and get inspired to create a goal, and allow that goal to pull them. Your goal might be to be the best at what you do. Your goal might be to be at the top of the list. Whatever your goal is today, I want to encourage you that don't you ever give it up. Don't you ever let the sweat that it takes in the enduring part turn you away from crossing the bridge of endurance into the realization or the manifestation of your goal, so that you can be upgraded from suffering to the life that you want, from suffering to the abundance that's available, from suffering to your ability to contribute to others beyond yourself. My name is Nolan James, and I come from the dirt. Everything in my life is a bonus. When I was born, there was a cord wrapped around my neck, and I was told that I have almost zero possibility of living if that cord was not untangled, or if I was not taken out in a certain way from my mother at the time I was being born. I was about to die before I had ever lived. I didn't even know, I would not have known even what suffering was, because I wasn't born into this particular world. Now, that's suffering as we know it, but I had no concept of suffering because I was just about to be born. Now, of course, there may be some who say if a baby is about to be born, they're conscious, which I agree. They have life, which I agree, as well as there's awareness, which I do agree. But I'm just saying I didn't have the concept of suffering. All I knew, it was my time to come from one state to the other state. And while I was trying to go, because it was my time, from one state to another state, there was something trying to hold me back. And I submit to you that there may be something trying to hold you back from entering into your new environment, your new place. And for whatever reason, don't you ever let it keep you down. Don't let it kill you. Don't let it take you to a place that keeps you back. Take all that's inside of you and endure through it. Set a goal that's worthy of your time, your attention, and your sweat. Don't let it hold you back. So you can hear what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying. You know in the world today there's suffering. You know in the world today there's obstacles, but you also know there's choice. And there's choice to endure and set a goal and get to the next level and get to the place where nothing that has been in your past will even be recognizable in your future. I just wanted that to sink in for a moment, because I think you're absolutely amazing. I could have dropped the F-bomb right there and said, you are, with that F-bomb, amazing. But I didn't do that, because I just wanted you to hear me say that you're amazing. And no matter what you are doing, no matter where you're going, if you just put that in your front pocket, just put it down in your front pocket, and when you need it, you just dig into your front pocket and pull it out and look at it and say, yep, I'm still amazing. No matter what you have to endure, no matter what's trying to hold you back, no matter what the struggle may be that you interpret as being something that you are suffering, you have no lack, because you are amazing. Do you agree?